Hello, shalom, hola, and welcome to the Spiritual Life with Mystic Reverend Travis Tidwell. And I'm here with my special friend here, Ashley.
Hello, good evening.
And I'm here with my executive producer, Athena, who's my beautiful daughter and also not only my executive producer, but my manager. She's also high priestess in training with Sacred Dragon, and Ashley's also a high priestess in training.
Yes, very much in
And
training.
developing her psyche and getting out there to rock the world,
It's a lot of training, by the way.
It
Travis and
is.
I talk maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah, because it's not just when you're studying, like we've been studying tarot, and that's not the topic tonight. But before I go any further, I just want to also acknowledge that this podcast is always and only being powered by the Lord God Yahweh, the Holy and Divine Spirit, Hermes, Mercurius, Trismegistus, and the Sacred Dragon, and all my angels and guides, and our angels and guides present. We give thanks to every podcast, as Spirit is everywhere, 24/7 in this house. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Totally.
And it's like when every time I walk in here, there's always such a good vibe. You feel like you're just washing yourself in the lake of Minnetonka up in here, okay?
Should charge for that. No?
$15 entry
Yeah,
to the Cosmic Playhouse.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. You
Right.
bet. Yeah, that's a good term. Yeah, and a lot of people have commented me on that. The energy is really good. They always feel it. They always want to come back and get some more. It's like, and share that. When I've had my own stores, man, people would come into my store and they just go, I could shop here all day. I was like, please do.
Yes, this is
You
like a
know.
museum.
Yeah,
There's so many
the
things.
energy exists, and energy is just so important to learn how to move, and it's moved in so many different ways, and we're so lucky to be so conscious and have so much information out here in the metaphysical spiritual realm to develop ourselves.
Absolutely.
Now tonight the topic is scrying.
Okay, so first of all,
Scrying.
I'm really glad we're talking about this because I had never heard of this terminology prior to sitting at this table or speaking to you. But when you explained it to me, and you can explain it.
Well, scrying is the art of looking into something that doesn't give you a true reflection, so that you can get a psychic vision from.
Psychic vision, okay.
That's what that really is. Scrying is getting a psychic vision.
So can this be used, I guess, as an oracle, basically, right?
Well, it is an oracle.
Okay.
Now, there's a few different methods of scrying, and and like I said, I really feel like Cagliostro was one of the most famous scryers, and he used to use what they call a magic mirror.
Can you please repeat that name one more time?
Cagliostro.
Oh,
Cagliostro.
I couldn't say that if I wanted
Yeah,
to.
look him up. I'm not sure what year he lived, what century now. It was the 16th. I'm not sure, but it was in that era, 15th, 16th century, I believe. And this guy could take that black mirror, which I'm sure was obsidian. So it doesn't give you, it's not a true mirror. It gives you a true reflection. Okay.
So I'm thinking like Snow White when she's looking in the mirror. Okay.
Yeah, and so Cagliostro had this gift where people would come to the table as we are, and he would have the mirror in front of both of them, and then if that person was dead or alive, he would make them appear on that plate, and they would communicate, dead or alive, no matter whether that a living person is.
What? That's
That's
insane.
true. That's true stuff right there. That's no joke.
Is there
Some
any
people thought he was the
recommendations
devil.
on where to read some of this? Because this is unknown
Yeah,
knowledge.
if I'm not mistaken, the Magus by Francis Barrett has some of that. There are books on Cagliostro. I do have his tarot card oracle. I do have a book somewhere. I apologize, I didn't prep that much for this with Cagliostro. I didn't want to talk about that much because.
Oh, let's move on.
But no. But for sure, but this guy was Italian, and he was just a master of scrying. And when you can bring somebody into a magic mirror, alive or dead, and communicate, come on.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't think anyone would ever
Royalty.
believe that.
Yeah,
until...
he's performed for royalty.
Oh, I believe it. They're
You know.
the upper echelon that knows the secrets of the universe.
You
Of
bet. You bet.
course.
Totally. And there's been a lot of, I guess we could call him even a magician at some point because of his magic was so powerful with what he did.
So let me ask you something. So just real quick, when you said magician, so do you mean that in the sense of having spiritual powers, or because magicians are used kind of, I guess, more or less as tricksters a little bit?
Well, no, there's tabletop magic.
Uh-huh.
And and there's street magic with David Blaine and those guys who are just insane.
Street magic. Okay.
But then there's ceremonial magic, which is what we do. We do ceremony to communicate to angels to move energy. So there's different levels.
Well, that's good to know. Okay, so then now that this has been open to the world, what are we looking at?
Well, in scrying, there's many different ways to scry. Like I said, you can use anything you're not getting a real reflection from. But tonight, or today, or wherever you're at, if you're in your car, just keep driving.
And if not, please go on to YouTube to Travis Tidwell podcast, and you can actually see the crystal balls sitting on the table. They're very beautiful, by the way.
Yes, and please do and subscribe, just like on the podcast here.
Hit the button.
On Spotify or iTunes or wherever you're at listening to me. Or to us, excuse me. But no, really, it's really an amazing art. I used to have a magic mirror, and I'm not sure where it is, but I do have black crystal balls here tonight. Why don't you go ahead and hold up yours that you're going to be working with?
So this is absolutely, I feel like it's dense. There's like a lot of energy behind this ball.
Yeah, here, let's cleanse it with some sage.
And I was just going to ask you, should you always cleanse it with
you should always be working with
sage
some kind of a
prior?
cleansing agent when you're working with your crystal balls. Now, with black crystal balls, you can only cleanse them really during the full moons, and you always cleanse them at night. So you can take it I've taken my black balls to the oceans.
Your black balls, okay.
Yeah, my black crystal balls to the ocean, on full moons, which is very, very powerful. Now, all crystals you can scry in too that have windows. So these crystal balls have windows, and let me show you what a window looks like now. And these obsidian, now I got this beautiful one here, guys. This a couple pounds easy.
It looks like it could do some real damage.
This has got to be about a 5-pound crystal ball, maybe.
Oh,
or
wow.
I don't know. Maybe it's less, but can you see the silver spot right there?
Actually, I can see the silver spot.
Can you?
Yes, it's reflective against the light. It looks like it's almost hollow at a certain spot.
Yeah.
Like it goes in a little bit.
Yeah. So find that in that crystal ball.
Okay.
This is what we call the window, or for this ball, it could be called the eye. And if you're on YouTube, I'm holding it up so you can see. Can you see that, my executive producer?
I'm going to assume it's this part right here. It's a little tiny.
Where?
Right here at this portion?
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
Here, let me show you.
Straight no. Thank you,
I'm
Sensei.
sorry.
Just kidding.
I love you. But no.
You're like, no?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Where are you, baby?
That one's a little darker, correct? Like, I was looking really hard.
Yeah. Oh, this thing needs to be washed. My God. Let me wipe it off here.
So as you're doing that...
Go ahead and find that. That one's right there, I think. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can absolutely see this.
Okay, you hold on.
Oh, this is really heavy.
Hold on that one, yeah.
And what would we call this portion of the crystal ball?
That would be known as the window.
The window. And for people that are sitting in their cars, the only way I could describe this would be holding a magic 8-ball, and there's like a window, but that little message doesn't pop up to the top. You could just see it hollowed out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I am lost in the sauce on this other one here. I'm trying to find
I tried
it.
to guesstimate with that little tiny circle right there. It's like the only thing I see.
Yeah. Yeah, this lighting is not doing me any justice. I kind of feel it could be up here.
Oh, well, let's move on to this one. I guess we'll just use this one.
Yeah, so this is a very powerful crystal ball. Obsidian, it's very grounding. Mm-hmm. That's why it's good to use the magic mirrors are always obsidian 9 times out of 10. Excuse me, it's always a dark color. So if you're right-handed, then your left hand is receptive, and your right hand is electric projective. Now, the way I was taught is that when you're holding a crystal ball, if I want to receive something for myself, I'll hold it in my left hand to get a vision, because that's my receptive side. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you're receiving it, you need to receive.
Yeah, I need to receive. I do need to receive something. And I've had crystal balls. I've had this one on my reading table for many years. Oh, there's the window right there in that. It's kind of
That's what I showed you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
Oh my god.
I thought you meant that little dot thing right there. No, you're right. No, you had it. I'm sorry. So this is all live. There's no covering up the mistakes here. It's Mercury retrograde, damn it. I apologized. Okay, now.
Oh. Okay, so now that we're here, we're looking at the window.
Yeah, the window, I'm just pointing that out to you. Now, you can stare into the window, if you would wish, holding it in your left hand.
Holding it in my left hand.
Yeah, and you would gaze into it. Now, put the crystal down for a minute. Now, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and share a sacred tip with everybody today. Something I normally charge for big money.
Okay, give it to us. We want to hear it.
All right, here you go. On crystal balls, one of the things you do to activate your psyche and connect your psyche to that ball is you always take your 2 forefingers and you rub the tops of your brows over to your temples, and then you rub that into the crystal ball.
If I didn't draw my eyebrows today, that would be plausible.
I'm so glad I'm not a girl. No.
So now you're activating it.
Now I've connected my psyche to this ball a little bit more. Mm-hmm. There's an energy in that. So then I would hold this in my left hand. I don't know if, whatever you're comfortable with, I've always looked at crystal balls a little bit lower on the table.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it can give you some perception.
Yeah, I could even put it into a pedestal with a candle before it. We could turn off the lights. That would be a good way to also scry with it. But then you would just meditate on the ball and until you receive some type of vision, and you could create some type of portal here, to your eyesight and your psyche working together kind of, And with a candle, when all the lights out, it works really good too.
So is there any preference in candles, or what kind of other items could we be using while we're utilizing this oracle?
Well, let's also look at this other ball real quick.
Oh, yes. What is this, quartz?
This is just a quartz. Mm-hmm. And, this has a world in it. There's many different dimensions of worlds in this thing.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and there's a window in here somewhere, and it's where you can see through that one hole or spot the whole inside of the crystal.
And just kind of like pausing on that, or piggybacking on that, I should say. I know a while back I had no idea that phantoms could be caught in shards of crystal, or just the crystal itself. So now that you're explaining this, it doesn't seem so far-fetched to me that it can encapsulate. It's almost like Men in Black and the marble on Orion's belt, where it was this little tiny marble, but it was like a million galaxies inside of it.
You bet. No, there's definitely worlds in here for sure.
Do you mind?
No, go ahead, please. Mm-hmm. Of course. And you can just see so much stuff in that crystal ball. I have another crystal ball you can actually see angelic spirits in, but it's on the altar. That's all I put that on my
That would be a good workshop, though, or a good, show people what to look for, because I'm sure people would have no idea.
Well, it's also about using your imagination just to be open to whatever you can see. Like I said, there's just so much, you can see in that.
And how long ago was this? Did this fall into your Museum of Oddities?
God, I have had that crystal for at least probably 25 years.
Oh, so it has some history.
I've had that crystal ball, the small black one right there, for 32 years. I've had this for about 28 years.
Well, I'm glad you're saying that in regards of time. So I guess maybe for people that are listening, they might want to know the connection with your crystal ball. The amount of years, the stronger the connection.
Maybe, maybe not. And really, to be honest with you, I don't. That might not be the trick. Mm-hmm. The trick is not the longevity holds. Of course, don't get me wrong. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm working with crystals I've had for a long time, and I've been programming and charging them, and they're all, they
on
become
your vibration.
Muy powerful.
Of course.
In regards to my obsidians here, this has always been on my reading table to help ground me and keep grounding energy on my table.
Of course.
And of course, and I could look over at that, and I have during readings before, and I've had visions or images appear to me. I've done this with candles in the room and just a crystal ball, and that's what you really need. Mm-hmm. We're here in this portable studio, And
studio.
portable
I'm all
studio.
staring into the crystal ball. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to look and see if I could see
Oh,
anything.
look, there's a UFO right there.
I'm just like house.
Yeah, there you go.
Like trounce, like come on, let me see it.
Well, that's yeah. No, that's not a vision. That's a manifestation right there. That's a
crystal ball.
visualization. Yeah, yeah. And going back to this one too, because this does not have any true reflection. You can see visions in this. If you go to the window on this thing and you see how the light hits that, so beautiful.
It is. It looks like a quadrillion million stars just exploded within the middle.
Yeah. Now, again, you were talking about phantoms and shards and this and that. Most people don't realize that phantoms are spirits that are inside the crystal.
I was also. Oh, so do you think there's phantoms in addition to?
Yeah, there's
having
phantoms.
a universe
Yeah,
inside
betcha.
of that.
You bet.
Sorry, I was looking at because earlier before we got into the show, there was a question that came across as I was reading this, but about the various names such as it being considered seeing and peeping. So I mean, maybe some people have never heard of scrying. So maybe.
Hey, are you a peeper? Would you like to do some peeping? I don't know.
That's a little creepy. Oh my gosh.
That could be ancient. Talk. I mean, from back in the 20s or 1800s, maybe. Or,
I feel like when we talk about scrying or just the title within itself, I think of like Merlin and wizards.
You
and,
betcha. No,
yeah,
for sure.
Very Camelot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Merlin knew how to scry. Everybody who does magic knows how to scry.
Which leads me to the question: is that periodically throughout the ages, there's certain oracles that just work better with certain time periods? Because that seemed to be the thing just there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we talk about when the magic mirror became popular through Cagliostro. Mm-hmm. There's been plenty of other magicians and people in metaphysics that have done some big things over centuries and generations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I really feel that falls on the individual.
Absolutely.
More than anything.
So basically the black mirror manifested itself, or not manifested, why did I say that? I mean, transitioned into the actual crystal ball over time.
Well, no. I mean, again, the magic mirror is just a black piece of obsidian, mm-hmm. Like a plate. But what we're saying is that the art of scrying itself, I mean, he used that mirror, and I love using that because that's a true story about him bringing living people or dead people in that image of that mirror. That's a true story.
Oh my gosh.
Royalties have that written down. I mean, this guy is world famous. I mean, Cagliostro. So, but that teaches us through, this, and see, at some point I think, is it really the mirror? No, it's not the mirror. It's him. Mm-hmm. It's the individual psyche working with that tool.
It's
that made that popular.
The projector of the mind.
Yeah, so we can do the same thing with the black crystal ball. And we can do the same thing with this crystal ball because it has so much into it. There's so many worlds in that.
So I'm glad you mentioned the crystal or what it's made out of. So would there be like a preference? Like, let's just say I really want really good healing energy. Do I want like an amethyst scribe? Do they even come in amethyst?
You can get crystal balls in any stone.
I figured that much, right? So it's like, depends on your vibration. What do you want to work with?
Well, here's the thing. If you need grounding at some point, and you want some clarity, you could put a black crystal ball on the floor and put your feet on top of it and sit down and ground your feet chakras to the obsidian, and that'd be one way to do it for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, because these are grounding tools, mm-hmm. and they're receptive. Things that are dark are receptive. Things are brighter are projective. Even though the crystals are kind of neutral, they all emanate their own energy. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But yeah, it's just amazing. We always have this one on the table, this big, beautiful one here.
I know this has been
Arkansas,
in your collection
baby,
for
Arkansas.
So long.
That's Arkansas.
That's the name.
That's from the McEarl mine, or is it the Coleman? One of the two. I think it's the Coleman, because the McEarl mine is where you get the crystals that are just optical. I have one of those somewhere around here. But,
it could be anywhere.
Yeah, my house. It could literally be anywhere.
It's like 9 at the museum with Ben Stiller.
Yeah. Or even worse, it's like going to a hoarding program. You see all these
oh my god! Except for everything is of value. Yeah. Like it has like a spiritual meaning.
Yeah, and and going back to the scrying, if you had a piece of glass, a shard, anything, you want to look and gaze into, that could be a form of scrying.
Now, let me ask you, can I just do it with like a regular porcelain plate maybe? Like, I'm desperate. I want to look in my reflection in a window.
If I was going to do that, I would use a black plate And maybe if you blessed it and consecrated it, you know, I'm not sure. I wouldn't say no to that 100% because I do believe it's the individual person and their own psyche that's gonna make that happen. Not, it's like I could teach anybody everything I know, but not everybody's gonna be able to do everything I teach them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've learned that. So same thing with that principle.
Just wondering, in case people don't have access to crystal balls and
Yeah,
stuff,
well, you can go online today, Google it, and you'll get one pretty cheap, I'm sure.
How about the people that don't want to let anybody know that this is what they're practicing, so they can't have it delivered? I know there's undercover spiritual freaks.
It's just a crystal ball. For those of you out there who want to dabble in your spirituality and are afraid to because of what other people think, you're losing it.
I think you're losing out on yourself, and you're losing out on your true life's purpose.
You're losing out not only on your life's happiness and your passion, but your true will.
Oh, absolutely.
What is thy true will? And it's to be happy. And if you're not happy with what you're doing, you have to figure out how to make yourself happy. Now, a lot of people out there, we're talking about scrying and spiritual stuff because I do this for a living. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yes.
And but there's a lot of people who don't. So this is something they have to do when they get off work. Something of that nature.
I don't think anyone's going to make this a 9 to 5. Well, unless you're really in it to win it, which we are. We are. You're like, how many years, Travis, have you been in the game?
32 years. I've been on the path, man.
Kobe.
I'm telling you, man. That's right. So, and it's a journey, but everybody at some point has to be interested in divination and their psyche and working with their psyche to scry.
And you can use this as a self-discovery tool, right?
Oh, very much a self-discovery tool. Yeah, because there's no script with it. It's not like studying tarot or the runes or something where there's, basic foundation of knowledge. This is scrying. So you're using nothing but your intuition and this ball here, this obsidian, and to pull off a vision.
Now, so just to reconfirm, or if I don't even know if we touched on the subject, but nothing can come out of the window of the scry.
Okay, here's part 2 to scrying.
Oh, okay.
So part 2, the other part is that you can summon a spirit into the ball. Okay. That again would be a candle, incense. You'd have to have a specific spirit intention, and figure out if this spirit is a spirit you can call anytime, or if this is a spirit that can only be used on a certain day and time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's many portals to this, and some spirits are easier to get to than others. When I'm doing ceremonial magic, as an example, I do put a black crystal ball on the table to have the spirits come in so I can see them, and that would be available to me. And even with the white crystal balls, I've seen spirits come through.
Has anyone used these kind of to trap it like a genie in a bottle? You can trap a spirit?
I don't think so.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah, it looks like it could harness some sort of power.
No, this crystal ball has a nature to it that's gentle because it comes from Mother.
Of course, of course.
Mm-hmm. So that's not going to be the issue. But again, anybody to be successful at scrying, no matter what they're using, whether it's a black obsidian ball or a quartz ball or some kind of a plate, you're going to have to be opening up your third eye and your psyche to make that happen. And if you're going to invoke a spirit, that ball's not going to bind that spirit there. So I'd be very careful.
So speaking of invocation, let's not go to the invocation. What is there?
Evocation here.
Evocation.
Yeah.
So can I do any chants or any specific prayers on top of it?
Of course. I would do the 6-pointed star thing that we normally do. Number 1, prepare the atmosphere.
Of course.
And yourself. Mm-hmm. Of course, you're going to do a prayer.
How about people at home that are like just driving? Like, can you just set an intention and be like, "Hey, this is what I'm here for today. Please let me see into what I'm looking for."
What you would really do is you'd say a prayer, and at some point ask your angels and guides and God to open up your mind to see what this crystal might have for you as far as a message or an image.
Gotcha. So pretty direct.
Yeah, because to summon a spirit, you're going to have an intention with that, and I'm not sure what your intention would be because you don't need to use a crystal ball to summon a spirit. I'm working with spirit guides and angels as we speak. Mm-hmm. They're working freely with me. Mm-hmm. So there's two sides to the coin to that. We've talked about this before. You got to be very careful who you hook up with spiritually.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's not my way or your way. It's Yahweh.
Such a good phrase.
That is such a good phrase.
Such a good phrase.
No, really. And just as I'm doing the full moon ceremony on the 27th on Zoom, and hopefully we'll have that downloaded on the channel. But, those are the kind of things you can start doing for yourself, meditating, doing ceremony, start activating your higher self, working with the 5 elements within yourself and your atmosphere.
Oh, and some of these are coming up on some podcasts in the future. So
but, it's going to be those type of exercises you're doing in your life to make you somebody who can scry.
Of course.
It's going to be very hard for people who don't know what they're doing to sit down and look at a crystal ball or a plate and make something happen.
Or not feel stupid, actually, because you're just like, okay, I'm staring at it.
Yeah, but what's weird is that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're like, what's supposed to happen?
Yeah. I mean,
what do you look for?
Yeah, and if you're summoning a spirit, then you're going to have to figure out, is that spirit going to talk out loud to you? Probably not. Mm-hmm. So, you have to be conscious of what you're really trying to pull off.
And use your intuition, I guess?
Yeah. I'm using my psyche with this crystal ball, and that's the way I would use it to scry with. I really feel scrying is more about using your psyche and your intuition.
So I noticed in the scry holder that you had some seashells and some crystals underneath when I picked it up. So now let me ask you, are you trying to keep an activation of energy surrounding it?
No, you know what? This is special stuff I've been collecting for myself.
Trinkets. Very Ariel the Mermaid.
Yeah, beautiful. That's a Herkimer diamond double terminated. Great energy. That's 450,000 years old. No, excuse me, 450 million years old.
How do you know that?
I know that for a fact because it comes from Herkimer, New York.
Oh, yeah, you did mention that, I want to say, like about a week ago. Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's 450 million years old. Herkimer diamond. Yeah, Google it. If you're looking for Herkimer diamond, you can go online. You might not be that easy to find.
If you want to get the lady something special.
They got my friend Jack has Herkimer diamond earrings, necklaces.
So that's like worth something.
Definitely. Oh yeah, this is the hardest diamond in the world. This is the toughest. This is a diamond.
You should make what do you call it? Brass knuckles.
Yeah.
With this stone. Excuse me, this stone.
Yeah.
Sock it to him.
No, for some reason I left this crystal here, but it's very beautiful. I got a lot of spark to it, It
has a lot of dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, so it's just stones that I collect.
Can you use more than one scribe at a time?
Sure.
I guess, is the bigger the scribe, the better?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
As long as you can see it.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing, is as long as you can see it. It's big enough for you to put both your eyes on. And when you have candles in the room, a little bit of incense going, that's going to help induce.
What kind of incense
could
they be using?
Probably, I like frankincense, but you could burn some sage. Even we're burning sage here on this podcast, as we normally do. But sage could be good to put in the room.
Like before, set the tone.
Yeah, I'd have to look at my book, because there are certain herbs that could bring in spiritual energy. Helping hand could be one of them. Lavender is a good one to use for that.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything a scribe... Okay, for instance, can a scribe just exude energy in a household in general? Like, I just want to put it on my altar.
Do what?
Like, just pulse... Because, what did you say? These are made out of obsidian?
Obsidian.
Yeah, so it's like grounding energy, right?
Yeah, I have this one on my main altar, this big one on my main altar, for that energy. And for any spirit that might want to appear, any vision I might want to get when I'm at the altar.
Of course.
And then that one I have on my reading table where I do readings, and I do count on that for the grounding the energy on my table in my room. But I also look at that, and we'll gaze at it during a reading. I've picked up certain visions on it. But I could probably do that on a glass of water.
In a teacup.
A teacup, eh? That's right. So scrying, it's not rocket science for scrying, but, if you're a newbie to metaphysics, and this sounds exciting, it is exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
And I would say, give it some time. You're going to have to get into practice of doing it. It might not happen the first time you try it.
I would practice your visions, right? You would have to really start getting very, very technical in what you're visualizing.
Well, I'll tell you what, knowing tarot has made me really open and psychic, and I'm a clairvoyant natural now, and I'm a medium now. So, that's the best oracle for anybody to start working with and meditating on those cards and going through the proper exercise with the cards just for psychic development. We're not even talking about divination.
They really do. I did one today, and I was really pleased. You feel like a confirmation, like you're on the right track
Right.
for the self discovery. That's how I initially started using this in general.
You bet. So there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of different theories about scrying, but trust me, it's anything more or less than what we just talked about. There are some books out there on scrying, and they might give you some techniques about meditating, again, using aromatherapy or things like that to help induce a vision or put you into a trance state so you can receive or see a vision in something. Because these just don't naturally carry that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you'd probably want to meditate on the ball and make it open and bless that and charge that crystal and the spirit of that crystal for receiving that information too. There's a lot there involved in prayer, preparing the atmosphere in the room, and putting the time and energy into it.
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, thanks for letting me know about this stuff today. This is really interesting.
This is a good episode for us to share. I want to thank everybody out there for listening to our episode tonight or today, wherever you're at.
And thank you to the new subscribers, actually.
Yeah, we got some new subscribers out there. Want to thank you. Want to thank everybody on YouTube out there for coming in.
Shout out to Harley Quinn.
There you go, Harley Quinn. What's up, baby? What's up? I want to give it up to everybody out there who's watching us, giving us that kind of attention. But I also want to remind everybody that those who are listening to us on radio here, whether it's iTunes or Spotify or Pandora or whoever else is carrying us. Travis Tidwell podcast.com. You can
on YouTube.
You can email me there.
Oh, yes.
At gmail.com. Excuse me. Travis Tidwell podcast at gmail.com. There we go. And ask me a question. I'll answer it for you spiritually, psychically. If you don't know who your angel is. Give me a holler on that one. You can also go to Travis Tidwell Podcast at YouTube, and that's where you're going to see us. If you've listened to us on the Spotify or channel, and you like what you hear, you can come and see what we look like.
You just like to hear our voices at night.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever time of day you're listening.
And I want to give much thanks to my executive producer, Athena. If it wasn't for her, this would not be possible with the Lord God
Athena.
Yahweh. And I want to thank Hermes and everybody, and the angel and the spirit of this day, Zod Kael, baby. So I'm hoping this information has benefited you in some way. I hope it benefits everybody out there who received this information. And I hope whoever received and watched this information would receive in divine love, divine light, and divine trust. As I ask the Lord God Yahweh to bless all of you out there, your family, your friends, your pets, all those you love and who love you. So be it. So be it. So be it. So be it. Bless you. Time has come to time has come for a change.